What's going on? It's your girl Shauna Speaks to Inspire, and tonight I'm coming back with another hot topic. Tonight we're going to talk about accountability pertaining to the wants, the sexual wants of a woman, and the sexual understanding pertaining to a man. And we're also going to show and get into the Jada Pinkett Red Table Talk with Gwyneth Paltrow and her mother, which has been going viral. Did she blow up well? Yes, no. Well, we're going to talk about it tonight. So, let's get into it. What's going on? This is your girl, Shauna Speaks, certified life coach, best-selling author of the book Queen with a Damaged Crown. And tonight, we'll be talking about accountability. On this channel, we are all things relationship, self-love. We take viral videos, current events, and we use them as life lessons and relationship tools. If something I say or do have helped you and give you a different perspective, please hit that like button, tap that notification bell for more videos, and also subscribe if you really like my videos. Tonight, we're going to be talking about women accountability and also our men mind readers. So tonight, I will be definitely digging into the again, everybody's after Jada saying that she blew a whale and embarrassed him. I got to listen to the table talk. I got to get an understanding. So I'm only here to give you a different perspective because we're so fast to jump to a conclusion, but let's really dig into it. So in the video, they're talking about about sex pertaining to the children and stuff like that. And as women, how do we show up in a relationship about our sexuality, and how do we show up showing our wants and our needs. So I'm gonna play a little clip first about when Gwyneth Paltrow explained exactly what I thought was really good. So let's take a listen.
Hello, and Apple, my daughter, I think they're a different generation, but our generations, I don't think were conditioned to really speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
What happens when you don't speak up for yourself? You're also not accountable.
That's really true.
You know what I mean? You're not saying, hey, this is my half of this, or this is like where I feel lacking, or here's my insecurity.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to be accountable for our sexual selves. And if we're uncomfortable or we're not getting what we want, we have to muster the bravery to say, could I ask you this question? Or like, let's talk about this.
Right.
Like, because as soon as you make it unthreatening, then it's easier for couples to have a conversation, right? It's not, you do something wrong, or I don't like when you do this. It's just like, hey, I've been too shy to have this conversation with you. Like, is it okay if we talk about this?
Okay, so basically, we're talking about giving yourself permission. And she was saying that, that as a woman, in a nutshell, we should be able to express our desires as a woman in a relationship. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't. And a lot of us was not raised that way. And a lot of us feel embarrassed. So she's saying is that it's time for us to speak, to open our mouths, because when we don't, then we become victims, right? Hence the part about being mind readers, which I'll play Jada's response a little later in this show. So basically, I love what Gwyneth Paltrow said. It's, you got to give yourself permission. We have to take accountability, because if we don't, we show up as being victims, and then we use the victim card. Oh, woe is me. Oh, he should have known, blah, blah, blah. So now my question to you guys is, have you ever did that? How are we showing up? Are you showing up bold, without emasculating the man and making him feel bad? Because it's, like I said, it's a very sensitive topic to talk about. It's very sensitive Nobody wants to hurt the other person's feelings, right? It's like saying, ooh, somebody breath stink. It's never going to be a good conversation, but it's a conversation to be had. This is a conversation to be had. I agree. I do believe that we as women, we literally lay down and take it. No pun intended. We don't speak our desires. And we do feel like a man is supposed to know. But then, just like I always say, how many women thinking that they're pleasing their husbands and in their relationship, but in the flip side, nobody's telling nobody anything? How many failed relationships have we had that we thought we were laying it down, or they thought they were laying it down, and we were unsatisfied because nobody wants to have the pillow talk. Nobody wants to have that conversation. Whose is it? Oh, it's yours. You like that? Yeah, who? And in reality, you're like, I want him to get off of me. I cannot wait for this to be over, so I can get in the cab and go home, or so I can roll over and go to sleep. But we don't speak because it's a fear. I don't know what it is, and I've been there. It's hard. It's very, very hard to be one with yourself and able to say to your partner, hey, when you do this, I don't really like it. And that right there, that's not it. Or sometimes the man gets with us and they just forget about us. It's like the marathon. You on a marathon, he's on a race, or you're on a race, he's in a marathon, and nobody comes together. So as husband and wives, I say to you, like, are you bold? Are you in there talking to your mate and expressing what you like and what you don't like? Or are you allowing him or her to turn you into this porn star that you should never have been in the first place? That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about accountability, because most women also, when we don't express, we automatically assume that he's supposed to know. But just because he's fine and he look good and he look like he can put it down, don't necessarily mean that he can put it down. Now, a lot of people took this video, took this table talk and ran with it and felt like, oh my gosh, Jada's airing out Will's dirty laundry again. She's emasculating him. She's embarrassing him once again. But I didn't look at it like that. I could see the perspective of why some of you might have felt that way or seen it, but I looked at it in another perspective. Here's a woman that's doing her show, and she's being vulnerable, and she's expressing that, as you being with me for 26 years, you should know me. Like, you should know my wants. You should know me by now. But unfortunately, there are some things that our men, i.e. husbands, will know about us. And there's some things that if we don't say anything, they won't know. So let's hear what Jada had to say while everybody was jumping on her.
22 years old.
It's crazy.
That's why the accountability part really hit for me, because I think you expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex.
Right.
It's like, well, if you love me, you should know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you love me,
You should be able to read
you
my
should
mind.
read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I
that's
mean?
a huge pitfall.
That's a huge pitfall.
Yeah, it is.
I hate that. I hate
Isn't it weird though? It's like someone doesn't read your mind and we feel crushed. Like, we feel so disappointed. Where do we get that from?
I don't know, because I don't feel like that at all. I guess, or maybe I've just grown out of it.
I think
it's
you
like you
probably-
gotta tell me what you need. Like, I can't read your mind.
Right.
Because I've grown out of it too.
Yeah.
Tell me what you need, tell me what you want, and on top of it, I know that I have to be accountable to do the same.
And do you?
I really try.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable,
Very.
but it's deeply healthy.
Okay. So basically, like her mother said, I'm not a mind reader. But we do that. You see how she leaned in when she said, you should know. That was personal. I agree. The immature, when you're younger, and I believe there's books that people have made, but I know that nobody can teach you how to be a mom, how to be a wife, and how to be a lover. These things have to be learned and taught with each other and as life lessons. Hence why people are able to give their perspective, but there really are no facts. But only facts that can be is what exactly you know and believe to be for your pleasure and your needs and your wants. And I do believe that as women, we have been silenced in fear. We feel like it's dirty to talk about. We feel like sex should not be talked about. And, you know, it's like, oh, no, we can't. But times have changed. If we don't talk about it, then we can't do nothing about it. And I believe that this is what is happening to a lot of relationships. There's a lot of relationships right now that are dying, that are broken, that are damaged because nobody wants to have that talk. Nobody wants to have that pillow talk. The real pillow talk is, you know, bills and, you know, just to go to sleep. But hey, you know, it doesn't have to be all the time, because I feel like if you have that one incident and you weren't happy, why lie to her and tell her that you enjoyed it? But in reality, you know you wasn't, and then you might not be comfortable the next time, or you might find somebody else to please you because you don't hurt your wife's feelings. Or why be mad at your husband because he thinks that he's putting it down because you are saying everything in the middle of it. Oh, yes, go deeper. Oh, this, oh, that, blah, blah, blah. And in reality, you're not happy. Right? Somebody had said, and I know, like, you know, a lot of my Christian people are watching this, but this is pertaining to married couples, but I'm just giving a real about it, and it's just my perspective. Either way, right? Because we all need to understand and be pleased eventually when we do get married and have a relationship. So let's go. My perspective is this. If you don't say anything, nothing will change. I believe that as women, we are playing the victim card a lot. I believe that we do get mad at our counterparts and expect them to know us in and out. And I do believe we cause this uncomfortable place and this friction between the two because nobody's saying anything. And we're not a mind reader, just like he's not a mind reader. You may understand your mate. You know, they got things, love languages, and, you know, certain way you touch and speak will arouse and things like that. I get that, and it's true. But if you absolutely are not pleased and you continue to put yourself through that torture, you are doing yourself a disservice. I'll say this. I am talking about a long time ago when I was in my 20s. I was with someone. Off the back, he was nice looking. Instantly, I was infatuated with him, right? We went out a couple of times, you know, as a young girl, you hold back, you know, you just wait to 6 months, 7 months, because you want the person to respect you. But we gained a friendship, started talking. We eventually got intimate. He was my second experience, but my first experience let me know what I liked and what I didn't like, because he was my first. So of course, you have to have something to compare it to. Because if somebody's been with somebody, one person, and you've never been with somebody else, you can't compare. You need a comparison. I realized that every time we had intercourse, I was not happy at all. But I kept doing it because, you know, it's what you do, right? You don't know that you're allowed to say, hey, I'm not dealing with this dude or this girl because I'm unhappy. It wasn't taught to us. It's like rude, right? It's like being rude is like a curse. Like, you just cursed at me? You told me I wasn't good? Because you hear hurt my feelings. Do this, do that. So I believe by listening to this Red Table Talk, it definitely helped a lot of people because it given women the freedom, the liberation to speak. You know, it's okay. It's healthy. It would change the trajectory of your relationship. I guarantee you, it would change it. Because if your husband know that he think, you know, and of course, it's not going to be an easy conversation. Of course, it's going to hurt his ego a little bit. But you know what hurts him more? That you got him thinking that he is King Kong, and he's not. He walking around here, yeah, I'm putting it down, and you sitting up there mad. You want him to get off you. You want him to he should know. No. How? You know, you could say doing it. Hey, babe, you know, I like when you, every time he'd be like, for real? They get heightened to know that there's something that they like because they want to be accepted and they want to know that they are pleasing you. But then you got some husbands out there that don't care. And if that's what you're going through, then you need counseling. Point blank, period. I just wanted to come on here because I think that this is a very, very good conversation to have with your spouse and your loved one. I also believe that Jada Pinkett didn't necessarily blow up Will Smith the way that y'all have perceived it on Twitter because it's a little outlandish. Like I don't believe that's what she did. But when she said he should know, I get what she's saying. Meaning, I've been with you a long time. You should know my love language. But on her side, in his defense, if he doesn't know, and you didn't let him know, and you want to be out here being in entanglements because you're not happy, you have to say something. So I understand why you say it's an embarrassment because for a woman, whether you're having a conversation, like right now I'm married, if I'm married, and I sit there and go, well, my husband is, he's this, he's that. And I'm just trying to do it for the fact of a show and get a point across. It will be a little embarrassment. So I do believe that she could have did it a different way to talk about it, to get it out there without implementing him. But I mean, how could she not? Because she's been with him for 26 years. Other than what happened with her in August, right? But other than that, and they have a very free relationship. So that's another thing. When you come to be with someone else and then you go back home because you decided to have little different menages and tours, and then you get the bite of the other apple because this apple over here is stale, it caused conflict. So basically, I just want to come on here and tell some man, if you're not, please don't get up and leave that woman behind. Tell her exactly how you feel. Tell her what you need. Leave little notes. Do it nice. Do it cute. Tell her exactly what you require as her being your mate. And for women, men are not mind readers. They don't know. They may understand that there's a particular thing that they do all the time that you respond to, but if you don't express that you don't like it, or it makes you feel uncomfortable, or that's not the spot, or that's not it, and you just continue to let him do his thing, and it's not, you're not happy, you are doing yourself a disservice, and it's not his fault. Just like you're not a mind reader, right? If you come in the house and you cook spaghetti, and he goes, well, I wanted steak and rice. You're going to say, hey, you didn't make a phone call. I wasn't informed. You didn't let me know that that's what you wanted, right? Right? It's the same thing. So it's the same thing as cooking in the bedroom. We have to be open and be unashamed in this bed that God has given us as a spouse and a husband and a wife. Because it's supposed to be a time that you come together with your loved one and express and sex ain't always penetration. It's intimacy. And I love it because in I Love Van Zandt said, intimacy is into me see. Into me see. Into me see. And I thought that was a profound, perfect way of looking at intimacy. So if you are a couple and you are out here playing peekaboo and trying to do telepathy like you're the Wonder Twins, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You have to open up. And women, be free with your husbands. Do things different. Don't be so closed. Be open-minded. Don't let him turn you into a Barbie. Don't let him turn you into this porn star if that's not who you are. But you have to express it. If it makes you feel uncomfortable to sit down and watch a whole hour of porn and that's the only thing that he can do to be aroused by you, that's a conversation to be had. If he only knows one way, one maneuver, that's a conversation to be had. If it's quick and he forgets you and he ran the race and you still trying to catch up, that's a conversation to be had. But do not let no one on both ends, both perspectives, for you to not be pleased. Open up your mouth and request what you want. You do it at your job, you do it at your daily life way of living. You request what you need. And if you need or don't like something, say it point blank and period. That's it. That is all. Point blank and period. I just wanted to touch on this because it was so profound to hear it, because as women, like she said, we don't give ourselves permission. And again, women, take accountability. Accountability for your flaws and for you not saying anything. And then walking around the house huffing and puffing and slamming pots and then not giving them any because you don't want to, or because you don't like it, or because you're afraid of getting pregnant again and nobody wants to have the conversation of contraceptives. Nobody wants to either get snipped or tied or burnt or condoms or something. Nobody, that's another conversation. Because I get it. There's some couples that's another conversation to have. There's some couples that are afraid of continuing to getting pregnant. And she's very fertile. And every time she's with her husband, because you're not going to use a condom, she's getting pregnant. But she only wants one child or two. But you're not going to put a condom on, and then you don't want to be the one to take the birth control. Why? Because it blows you up. It gives you medical problems. You know, you could die from it if you, if you're a smoker and things like that. You know, and then the guy, he doesn't want to get snipped because he's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be with you. We might divorce, and I might want more kids because you don't. So that's another conversation to be had. But it's a conversation to be had by full-grown adults, mature adults that could sit and hear critique and still love your mate after they say it and be okay with what they're saying if they say it in love, and take it as a tool, listen to their perspective, see their feelings, hear their heart, and then work towards making each other happy. It's never an easy conversation. Sex is never an easy conversation. It's like religion and politics. It's easy to have when you want to flirt and send little stuff, but when it's for correction, to say, I wasn't happy, to say, nah, that ain't it, dude, it's not easy. So, like I said, this is your girl, Shauna Speaks. I am the Why Coach. And I'm here to let you know to speak. Your wants are your wants. Your desires are your desires. And you deserve to be happy. And the needs and the wants of you, men, are just as important as the needs and the wants of us. But you got to speak up. So again, it's your girl, Shauna Speaks to Inspire. If I said something that you agree with or you didn't agree with, leave a comment, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos and future tools towards dating. This is your girl, Shauna Speaks to Inspire. Have a good night.